Hey guys, how's it going? Today I wanted to go over a lot of the questions that were submitted regarding the Taken King and other recent news. These questions all come from Twitter. If you aren't following the Twitter account, then please do, as it is literally the easiest way to get in contact with us. Now first off, I want to bring attention to a recent FAQ guide on the site that talks all about the VIP rewards and the digital collector's items. Out of all the questions I got, most of them were asking about those two things. So that article on our site is there and answers all of those questions and more. I'll link that in the description. So please read over that if you're still curious about what you need to do to get those digital items and how it exactly works. And some of the other frequent questions I got were, will there be achievements? Yes. Will there be voice cinematics? Yes. Will you be able to skip cutscenes? Yes. Why is overseas pricing so high? Well, I can't answer exactly why this is, as I'm not privy to either Activision pricing policies or laws regarding selling software overseas. I want to point out that the Legendary Edition on Amazon has been reduced in price for UK players. Now let's get into some specific questions. Julia Shadow asks, how many exotics do we get? We've seen an exotic Warlock Gauntlet and the timed PlayStation exclusive Scout Rifle, but that's about it. I believe we'll be getting a significant number of exotic armor and weapons though. Speaking of exotics, Nick Price 83 asks, with the new exotic class armor, will we be able to equip more than one exotic item at a time? That has yet to be determined. If I had to guess, I'd say so, but who knows, maybe they'll go in the artifact slot. I'm really not sure right now. Next up, Taloon wants to know, how long do you think the Taken King will last from seeing the trailers and what was released via the vid doc, etc.? As you all know, we've seen very little of the Taken King. We've barely seen the first mission. There's no telling exactly how long the content will last for, because that will be determined primarily by how quickly you play. We do know that there's going to be more content than both of the previous expansions, that the raid is the biggest yet, and that there's much more to keep us invested. But as far as specifics go, we won't know until later in the year. Shubi1298 asks, what type of armor is the PlayStation exclusive armor? The timed PS exclusive armor is legendary. Tasmo99 asks, do you think changing the attack and defense to light is a good thing? I want to make sure you guys know that the Taken King is still in development, and anything can change from what we saw at E3. However, assuming they keep the light values for armor and weapons, I think that'll help streamline everything. It's the best course of action in my opinion, but I don't want to form too big of an opinion on it until I've had time to actually experience it though. On the new Crucible modes that we saw, Maiko Tofik asks, will the new game modes be timed events or permanent? I believe Rift will be permanent. I'm guessing that Mayhem will vary from week to week. Maybe one week it'll be Mayhem Control, another it could be Mayhem Rumble, and so on. Bungie hasn't revealed this information though. Next, the Murderist asks, have Bungie revealed how big the Dreadnought patrol area is? For those unaware, the Dreadnought is the new location. It's located near the Rings of Saturn, and the new raid is taking place there. They haven't said exactly how big it is, but they have said that it's a full destination and you'll be able to explore it. Unlike the other patrol locations, we probably won't be able to use our Sparrow there, making it seem even bigger. To better explain the Dreadnought, I'll quote a recent interview from Kotaku in which Luke Smith said the following. It's tricky to conceptualize how large the Dreadnought is because it's a labyrinth. There's a lot of stuff in there. With the Dreadnought, we wanted to take some of the things that we felt players liked about the Vault of Glass, like explorability, discovery, mythology, and mystery, and weave that into the player experience that players felt like they have opportunities to go back to this place and figure out different secrets. As far as weapons go, Henry BDDF asks, what are your thoughts on the new weapon models and aesthetics, and the new weapons in general? How different are they? I'm a big fan of what we've seen so far. Thankfully, each of the weapons foundries will have a unique style and perk layout, so I think that'll really help players define their character in a meaningful way. It'll also help you identify weapons as they're seen on players. You'll know that a Suros weapon is firing at you not only by looks, but also by sound. And while we're talking weapons, a lot of people have asked me about the old weapons and what will be happening with those. So as far as I know, old weapons aren't going anywhere. You'll still be able to use them, so you don't need to worry about losing your favorite weapon. However, whether or not old weapons will still be as powerful as the new Taken King weapons, that's unknown. Old weapons may not benefit from the light attack level and be restricted to a max of 365 attack. Obviously, this probably won't matter much for PvP though, but for PvE, it's possible that the old weapons will be slightly less powerful. Muhammad Laikour asks, wondering if Phobos will also be explorable or just available for a mission. I'm pretty sure it's only going to be available for a certain mission. I haven't heard anything about it being a patrol location, but maybe it will be in a future expansion. Again, we won't know until the Taken King gets closer. Lauren Levine wants to know, why are players level 20 in the Crucible videos but level 34 in their inventory? The E3 build that was shown off was old, and definitely not final. As far as investment and levels go, Bungie hasn't detailed exactly how that's going to work. They haven't confirmed a new max level yet either, but I'm sure we'll know more solid details about that closer to release. Different Gamer asks, will armor reforging come to Taken King? It looks that way, but Bungie said they're experimenting with the idea, and it's not set in stone. However, I'm really excited to have armor reforging instead of weapon reforging. I think having to find the best rolls on weapons will introduce more variety, and there won't be as many complaints about overused and overpowered weapons since you can't just reroll it perfectly. And for armor, it adds a whole new dynamic. I think the armor perks are much more balanced but are currently underutilized. Personally, I'd really like to roll for a perfect set of armor rather than a perfect set of weapons, as the armor is really my defining characteristic. The next question is in regards to weapon balance, whether it be auto rifles, exotics, or whatever else. So many people send in questions about balance, so I won't bother listing all the names, but I did want to go ahead and cover it. Starting with auto rifles, now that they're less powerful, Bungie knows that they're not being used as much as they used to. I'd be shocked if they weren't planning to buff them a little, considering how many complaints that there are. It's just a matter of time, really. As for the exotic hand cannons, I feel that these will eventually be reworked. You'll have to keep in mind that Bungie plays Destiny and knows about the time to kill on these weapons. I want things to be somewhat balanced as much as the next guy does. Fig Newtons 13 asks, will you need to buy the Taken King to get new subclasses? As far as I know, you'll need the Taken King to use the new subclasses. I haven't heard anything differently than that. To be safe, buy the expansion if you really want to use the new subclasses, or just wait until the Taken King is out and we finally know. Ginaldo 2002 asks, does pre-ordering the Taken King give you any advantages? Pre-ordering the basic $40 version and the $60 legendary version will give you early access to 3 Vanguard weapons. If you're going to buy Taken King anyway, you might as well pre-order, but everyone will have access to these 3 Vanguard weapons at a later date, so that's nothing major. W. Red Fox asks, is the Red Bull out now in the US? When will it be? The Red Bull promotion is active at 7-Eleven stores in North America starting July 1st. It will be exclusive to 7-Eleven until August 1st. Then other stores like Walmart will also have these special Destiny Red Bull cans until September 30th. We'll be giving out tons of these codes very soon too. And finally, X-Force 226 asked about the Lord of Wolves, Queenbreaker's Bow, and Dreg's Promise. He says, which should I take for PvE and which for PvP? We have reviews for all of these weapons, so first thing you should do is watch those to get a preview for all of them. Secondly, we have an entire article that compares each of these weapons and attempts to answer the question of which is best. You'll find a link to that in the description. And with that, I look forward to even more questions down below in the comments. Unfortunately, a lot of the questions that were asked don't have solid answers yet, because Bungie is holding a lot of information back until we get closer to the release. As always, I really appreciate your interactions with us on Twitter, and thanks for asking some really great questions this time around. I hope you guys found this video helpful. This has been Patrick Casey with PlanetDestiny, your guide to the Destiny universe.